Welcome everyone for the first of the 2021 Sunday webinars. And tonight we have in the audience the district leadership team. And I will be introducing them shortly. While the speakers are speaking, we will be muted. But if you do have a question, please pop it into the chat. Jenny is our chat assistant today, so she'll be taking care of your questions. So we make sure they are answered during the session as best we can. So we will get to as many questions as we can during the session. Now, for those of you that may or may not be aware, the D71 was founded in 1972 and it grew until 2014. That's when we divided into, I should say, expanded from D71 and D91. So today, D71 consists of 12 divisions, 46 areas and 211 paid up clubs. So we are part of a very large picture. So tonight we have the pleasure of meeting our district leadership team. Before we move on to that, we have in our midst our resident poet. So I'd like you to put your hands together for our resident poet, Anya O'Neill.
The open page. Waves on a high incoming tide, gathering pace, rolling with force towards the open mouths of waiting parchment leaves. Pen poised for action, finger and thumb take hold. Grey matter springs into gear, ideas clamoring to unfold. Unleashed at last, wings spread wide, tumbling into cold, crisp air, as birds in flight fan the sky, soaring, gliding, diving into a sea of open page, blank and waiting to engage, landing betwixt even lines, perched and ready for the looking eye. Thank you.
Thank you, Anya. That was amazing. So let's move on. The first of our leadership team is our district director, Daniel Sanders. So please put your hands together for Daniel Sanders. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Sue. Welcome, everyone. Hello, Wembley. Well, the 26 of you that came in tonight. Hello. Lovely to see you. I'm Daniel Sanders. I'm the district director. I've been a member of Toastmasters now for 10 years. I first joined where I worked at Cranfield University. I joined the Cranfield Speakers Club. I since went on to set up and help set up Northampton Speakers. They're my two clubs. We're north of London, roughly in a line between Oxford and Cambridge. Milton Keynes is our big city. So that should help you put me on the map. What do I do as a district director? Well, my job is to oversee the daily operations, finances, and human resources of the district. And to help me do that, I have a district leadership team, and you'll be introduced to members of that team shortly. And what I do is I help empower those district leaders to deliver the district's mission. The district's mission is we build new clubs and we support all clubs in achieving excellence. We support all clubs and we build new clubs. That's our primary mission as your district leaders. My own vision for this year, though, is this year I want us to be a growing and visible community of flourishing members in excellent clubs. And I'm sure we would want all of that for ourselves, wouldn't we? We want excellent clubs. We want our members to flourish where their dreams come true. And we want to be visible in our communities. We want to be the household name, not the best kept secret everywhere. And we want it growing, you know, something that's good, expands in the world and fills it full of light. And people from all walks of life can come towards us and start to find their voices again. That will take ambition. And just like John F. Kennedy, if we dream, if we believe, if we achieve, we could land a man on the moon and bring them safely back within a decade. I personally would like to land this district on the stage at Nashville and bring back a banner that says we're a distinguished district and get us all safely home again. Thank you very much. I'd really now like to introduce you to the first of my district leadership team, Programme Quality Director, Brenda Lannan. A big hand for Brenda.
Thank you, District Director. Good evening, everybody. My name is Brenda Lannan, and I'm the Programme Quality Director. I joined Fingal Toastmasters in October 2010. And Fingal Toastmasters is based in Sutton, which is in North County, Dublin. And I'm also a charter member of Monaghan Toastmasters since March 2021. Both are great clubs, and I'm really proud to be a member of both of those clubs. Fingal is celebrating its 35th anniversary this year, and for 21 of those years, the club has been President's Distinguished, the only club in District 71 to achieve that great honour. What is involved in the role of Programme Quality Director? Well, I'm responsible for all areas of education and training. I also support quality clubs and promote the Distinguished Club Programme. I'm also working on the district conference and speech contests, which will be starting, the season is starting for speech contests over the next few weeks. That's my role as Programme Quality Director. And now I'll hand over to Daniel.
So,
Thank you, Brenda. I'll hand it over to my Club Growth Director, Elizabeth Jordan.
thank you, Madam Webinar Host and District Director. I'm Elizabeth Jordan, and this year it is a great privilege to be your Club Growth Director. Last year, I was the Public Relations Manager. That was phenomenally exciting, extremely challenging, but it was sufficiently interesting to want me to continue on this path. And the path, as I said, is club growth. It doesn't really need a lot of explanation because it says what it does. The objective of the role is to grow clubs, grow community clubs, grow corporate clubs, grow niche clubs, and also help low membership clubs, clubs that have less than 20 members, grow back to their charter strength and beyond, and do so in a sustainable way. I don't have to tell you, it's a massive challenge and one I'm absolutely looking forward to. The way we're going to do this, the way we're going to tackle this is we have what's called a Growth Academy, which is a hub of excellence and expertise. It's all about using marketing, strategic marketing tools to really understand our market and go out there and find those clubs. It's about raising the levels of our expertise, and we have got some absolutely top class trainers to help raise the level, to upskill all of us. And thirdly, we're into resource matching. We have about 22 clubs that are below 12 members, and they need coaches. Strictly speaking, we should have 44 coaches. We absolutely don't have those. We don't have that number. So there's a massive job to be done. And I have to keep repeating myself that certainly the core team, we're ready, we need you. I'm going to stop. The lights are red. Over to you, Madam Host.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So let's move on to our next district leadership team, our Public Relations Manager, Arnold van Buren. So please put your hands together for Arnold.
Thank you very much, a host, and of course, amazing to be part of this amazing team. And yes, I am the public relationship manager. And what we do is, well, everybody joined Toastmaster. Well, we all have a reason. And do not forget that Toastmasters have outchanged our lives. Now, what also is important is if we want to share the story about what has been changed and what have been changed in our lives and how to bring our lives to the next level. The stories that I hear sometimes from people, but not has been, let's say, been shared. Now, my task is to let those people shine. And this is included Toastmasters, because all what we want is, of course, to help everybody become confident in public speaking, but also confident in leadership. The reason why I'm sitting here is because I was helped by a lot of people within Toastmasters. And if I share this story to people, people will definitely come to us. People will definitely join Toastmasters, because it's not only about public speaking, it's all about building that amazing confidence and the amazing connections and friends and families. So my role is to tell the story, why people grow, why people become leaders, why people become stronger in public speaking. So you can also make it happen by sharing your story. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Arnold. So let's move on to our Administration Manager, Steve Campion. So please put your hands together for Administration Manager, Steve Campion.
Thank you very much, Sue, Madam Webinar host. I have the privilege of being our Administration Manager in the district, and I'm also an active member of the Growth Academy that Elizabeth mentioned earlier. And that's because I'm really passionate about the growth of new clubs and the growth of membership in our clubs. I've done the reason I'm so passionate about that is I actually think the world would be a much better place if there were more Toastmasters in the world, if there were more people exhibiting integrity, respect, service and excellence and helping each other along the way. I've done a few roles at district level and as a club officer, but most importantly, I've been a member of Toastmasters for 2,453 days. I don't count every single one of them, but maybe I should, because that's 2,453 days in which I have personally benefited, and more importantly, seen how this organization helps other people to learn and grow. And that's what makes it a wonderful experience for me. If you're wondering what an administration manager actually does, the official description is to maintain the records of the district, which in other words means I get to help organize meetings like the district executive committee and the district council, where club presidents, club VPs, area directors, division directors and the DLT work together to make decisions about how this district can best achieve its mission and best serve our clubs and members. And also, we're quite a busy district. We've got almost 4,000 members. We've got 1,300 club officers, many of whom haven't done that role before and need support. And I just look at the online calendar. We do about a dozen events every month. So a lot of my work is just wrangling spreadsheets and helping things keep moving behind the scenes. I'm going to stop talking now because the most important thing for me for today is to be answering questions. So with that, Madam Webinar host, Sue, back to you.
Thank you, Steve, for filling us in on your role and what you've got coming up for us. That's excellent. So we're now moving into the Q&A part of the session. And to get us started, we have had some questions come in, so please keep your questions coming into the chat for us. If you direct them to Jenny or myself, that would be amazing. Now, I have one question here that I'm going to direct to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, can you tell us more about the Growth Academy?
Yes, I'll be delighted to tell you about the Growth Academy. The Growth Academy is a new, I think, a big and bold creative idea in District 71. The idea behind it is quite simple. We get people together who've got experience and expertise. We garner a synergy from that, and we use that to really understand what is happening in D71. And we do that using really robust strategic marketing principles like segmentation, positioning, all those good things that businesses use to massive advantage. The next thing we do, we realize that we need a lot of training in our district. For example, people who want to be coaches and mentors, you don't just walk into those roles. One does need some trainers. So we're bringing in, as I said, the very best trainers. And again, we've got, as I said, this resource matching. We have 22 clubs, latest, all seeking under 12 members, and they have to be resourced. So the Growth Academy is really there, as I said, this resource hub. Send us any question you have. We have got the expertise, but what we do need, as we're having this discussion, we need more people. We've got a nice little core, but we need more. So that's where I would like to leave it at the moment, a hub of expertise and excellence. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So let's move on.
Sue, you're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth, for your introduction, your information there. That was amazing. I didn't realize I was muted, so I was, yeah, let's move on. This question I'm going to direct to Daniel. Daniel, how often do the district leader team meet, and what happens in these meetings?
Right, thank you, Sue. Hey, great question. The district leadership team currently, whilst we're online, is meeting weekly, Fridays, usually around 7 o'clock. And what we tend to include in our agenda is a feedback item from each of the district leadership team members. Plus, we tend to also address any urgent matters. For instance, we had a session at the last district leadership team meeting on Friday about the agenda that we wish to put forward at October the 8th district officer gathering. It's an example. In another example, we could easily have an outside expert coming in to give us a short briefing before we discuss and make decisions. So that could be the conference director could come in and give us a 5-minute update, and then we would discuss matters relating to the conference. That's very much how we run the agenda. And behind that, Steve helps support those agendas by keeping minutes, and he also has an action and decision log so that we can track and audit any of the decisions that we're taking. It doesn't stop there. I'm available for one-to-one updates with each of my officers throughout the week, and typically that can take up 3 or 4 or 5 half-an-hour blocks on top of that. That roughly sums up what we do, and in those personal one-to-one catch-ups, we often go deeper into some of the questions each of the officers is dealing with, and we tend to reach some of the early decisions and early thinking behind that, do some brainstorming and flag up some areas that need attention. Yeah, thank you. Hand it back to you, Sue.
Thank you, Daniel. So next, I have a question about our Toastmasters story. So I'm going to direct this one to Arnold. How can we get our wonderful story to the public?
Well, thank you very much for giving this question, host Sue. I just want to say that sharing your story starts by literally sharing your story. And how we can do that is, for example, starting with a social media. We have, let's say, the District 71 already have an amazing Facebook, an amazing LinkedIn, where stories can be shared. And I encourage everybody that if there is something that you really want to share, to send it over to me, because I can post it, I can see if it can be in a newsletter, so everything that needs to go out there and needs to be heard, I will say, send a message to me. Now, how can we make it more powerful? By keep sharing it. So we have now, let's say, one example, but maybe if you have more stories, don't keep them within your club. Use social media. Use me by sending all these details to just email me. And how more we can share, how more things will be appear, because it's all about consistency. So if you have a story, please share it on social media, on every platform. Maybe if you have a bulk mail, send it. But also, what's more important is get me involved, and I can push it further. Hopefully, this answer helped. Back to you, Sue.
Thank you, Arnold. So the next question I have is, I'm going to direct this one to Brenda. Brenda, how can we celebrate members' achievements more?
As Arnold just said, Sue, by sharing the story, by putting the achievement up on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on social media, by announcing it at your clubs for members who have achieved any educational award or member anniversary, anything that you consider should be recognised and celebrated. Celebrate it and tell it beyond your club. Start with your club, but expand out to your club, to your area. We want to hear and recognise achievements.
Thank you, Brenda. Now I have a question here from Patricia Laughlin. Will there be a live conference in 2022?
Do you want to answer it?
Brenda.
At the moment, the intention is that there will be a live conference in Galway in May 2022. Some of the elements that would make up a traditional conference, such as the council meeting, the contests, the candidate showcase, we've been directed by Toastmasters International to run them online. So those elements will be held online. But we have a great venue in the Galmont Hotel in Galway. And the plan at the moment is that, yes, there will be an in-person conference in May.
Thank you for sharing that information, Brenda. Now I have another question here, and I'm going to open up to any district leadership team that would provide the answer. What is the district's DEI policy? That's diversity, equity and inclusion. And what training will we receive on this policy?
Elizabeth, that's one of your specialisms.
It's one of my specialisms at work. I'm a chair of our company's DEI policy. I would say that personally, I do not think we have given this the due regard it deserves. I have raised it and I think we've discussed it. I think it's something we have to get to grips with, because it is a fundamental fairness for the way we work. We have to reflect our members, and I think there's a lot of really good thinking in when you get the DEI right. I would say, for example, if we look at our district success plan, I don't think we've got anything in there especially about DEI, and maybe we should. So, to cut a long story short, I think it is work to be done. We're not there yet. Is how I would. That's my take on the situation.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah.
Sorry, Sue, do you mind if I come in on that as well, following on from Elizabeth?
Yes, please
because
do.
I agree with Elizabeth and the comments being made. I think the thing to bear in mind is we need all of our districts, everyone involved in our district, whether it's the area director, division director, members of the district leadership team, members of the extended team, to reflect the community that we serve. We need the members of our clubs to be wanting to do district leadership roles, and our clubs need to be encouraging people from all walks of life, from every sort of possible area of the community to be involved in their clubs. I personally find I have the fortune of being involved in 4 clubs, and we have got a lot of diversity in all possible ways of thinking about it in those clubs. But what I find in my experience is that maybe not everyone feels like they can go for a district role. Not everyone feels confident enough or empowered enough or supported enough to do a district level role such as an area director. And that I personally find disappointing. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for everyone to be doing here to encourage more members to be going for those types of roles. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Now I've seen Arnold's hand go up. So Arnold, do you have something to contribute to this question?
Yes, as I will. Thank you for letting me. So, I just want to tell people that we as Toastmasters, we are here to help. We are learning in a safe environment. So you as a leader who wants to, let's say, join the district, it's not about like, shall I do it? I will say do it, because let's say it's a journey. It's not something that, oh, I need to be an expertise in something, because if we are expertise, if we are perfect in everything, what is definitely not. Listen, no, indirectly, I'm not perfect, and others, we are still learning. So I just want to say, Toastmasters is the safest environment to learn to become a perfect leader. So don't hesitate, just do it. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Arnold. Now, I have a question here about the Toastmasters magazine. How important is reading the Toastmasters magazine in the life of a Toastmaster speaker at the grassroots? There are so many links online, so it's a potential major read. What can we do? Steve.
Thank you, sir. I was wondering who was going to get that question. I think it's an excellent question, actually, because in our daily lives, we get bombarded with emails and messages. And if you're on social media like Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, you get even more. I know I personally get so many emails, it can be very, very difficult to keep up. So to go back to the question of how important is it to read the Toastmaster magazine, or how important is it to read the district leader letter or any of the other communications that are going out? I think the answer is, in the world of Toastmasters, we are all volunteers. We are all volunteers, volunteering our own time to help other people, and also investing time to help ourselves with our personal growth. And with things like this, you always get out what you put in. I personally would read the contents page and look at some of the articles that seem interesting to me, some of the inspiring stories about mentoring or a particular theme that's something that I want to develop. And I would advocate that everyone else uses their time wisely as well. You know, it very much is the case of you get out what you put in. I'm not going to say everyone should read every single word. I would say read the things that are useful to you and relevant to you. But please do, if you are a district officer, please do read the emails that come out from the district leadership team. We try and send very few of them, but we try and include as much useful information, relative information about what people need to do and know in those messages. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Moving on. We have an audience member who says their club has good ambitions on the PR front this term. Does the District 71 leadership team give one-to-one advice or guidance to the club VPPR? So I'm going to open that up to the team to see who would like to answer that question. Because I know more than one has had a PR role.
Let me start with this one, if that's okay.
Thank you, Arnold. Yes, please do.
First of all, I want to ask everybody just to, if they are in the VPPR and they need any assistance, by yelling and sending me emails that they need help. We can't, as a team of, let's say, me as a public relation manager, we can't just think that people are needed, well, that they need like the help they need. So I will, everybody who needs support, and yes, we will do group sessions. Yes, we could do a one-to-one, but I need to know who. So send me the email and I will definitely spend some time with you or with the person or with the VPPRs to make things and go to the next level. But I need to know who first. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arnold. Oh, Elizabeth, you have something to contribute to that?
Yeah, I was going to add to that, because last year when I was in the PRM role, what I did, I had a bi-monthly VPPR network, because the VPPR is a natural community for PRs, and that worked very well. People came along to that, and out of that, VPPR said what they needed. So we did things like Canva. We had talks on preparing to go on the radio, writing pitches for the newspapers, and so on. So that VPPR circle, that connect circle we had, worked quite well. But equally, if people, like Arnold said, if they wrote questions one-to-one, would also answer those. So lots of opportunities. But as I said, VPPR's natural constituency for PR.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I think this next question might be up your street as well. And this question is regarding a club that had growth last year in a local Toastmasters club, but it's now struggling to fill the official position. What would you say to a relative newbie who's joined Toastmasters in the last 3 years, taking up the role of club president just to fill the post?
That is not an easy question, simply because I'm sure there's lots of history and nuances behind that. But what I would say, and what I have found from my own experience in Toastmasters, see things as an opportunity and grab it with both hands. And then once you've done that, go out and seek help. There are an enormous, we're lucky, we have over 250 DTMs in our district. I'm always struck by how helpful people are. So what I would say to that club president, if you're in that role, you're new, find another president, talk to someone at the DLT, but we can help you find another president, find a buddy up with someone, get a coach, get a mentor, get whatever is needed. But the key thing I would say to you is, rather than see it as a problem, change the mindset, see it as an opportunity, and get the help you need to turn that club round. Because when you do that, you will have such a sense of satisfaction. And also you will have grown so much through that. We don't grow by doing things that are easy and things that we can do well. We grow through struggle or doing complex things. So I would say, great for putting your hands up, happy to help, and we're all here to help you, would be my take on it. And I'm happy for my colleagues to add to that question, because it's not only club growth. This is a general question.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So moving on, and I believe this question is probably for Daniel and or Elizabeth. Having joined this is from a Toastmaster that has joined during the recent COVID influence period. And this person feels somewhat disenfranchised when members of their club refer to getting back to real face-to-face meetings. And this is partly because of their working life situation. In their opinion of today's skills and requirements is the ability to present, communicate and manage via various digital platforms is at least equal to, if not greater than, a face-to-face situation. So their belief is we should highlight in our marketing concept how being a member of Toastmasters and leveraging the training available via the Growth Academy will help members upskill their communication skills in the digital world. Is this focus on the communication in the digital realm currently in scope of the district vision, or could it be?
I'll get into this one. This is a really excellent question, and I think there's an awful lot of members who've joined us over the last 18 months that probably have the very same questions and tensions within their membership. If all of the older club members are all talking about getting back in person, what do the people do that can't access that? And that is an excellent growth opportunity for the district, is to reach out and meet those needs of those people to whom the online world is their existence. And I'd really strongly encourage that as a district, we continue to keep on side these people and we don't let them drift loose. And as far as Toastmasters educational programs, I think, go to support that, it is what you make it. The material is there to thrive online. You can do social media, you can do blogs, you can do podcasts. They're all in there, as well as all of the presentation mastery, loads and loads of training out there on being effective on Zoom. And I'll now hand it over to Elizabeth Jordan.
I think there was a part of the question that asked, how could the Growth Academy help? As I said, it's a hub of excellence and expertise. And any question you have, I would say, come to us and ask. And what we're really trying to do, we've gone out all over the world to really look for, I would say, experts in their fields to help upskill us. So if you look in the coming weeks, you will see we'll be offering training on marketing. We'll be doing, we've got marketing, we've got mentoring, sponsoring. And obviously I work very closely with my colleagues, the PQD, in looking at your training. So we will, for the Tuesday sessions, we will collaborate together, and some of those joint sessions will reflect the sort of things you're looking for, be it on hybrid. I think there's a meeting on Tuesday on hybrid clubs. So definitely we've listened, we've seen what's happening. I've been all around the world, all hours of night and day, attending hybrid meetings just to see how they're going. So we've now got a body of knowledge that we're looking to share with you. So that's the sort of thing we're going to do. So the Growth Academy definitely delivering on upskilling and high quality training.
And we should also point out at this stage that the district has about 10 to a dozen online clubs that will stay online. And if members need to transfer between the two, that can be arranged.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Elizabeth, for those answers. Steve, I see your hand has gone up. You'd like to contribute?
I would, because I think this is a fascinating question and a really good one. And actually just building on what Elizabeth and Daniel have said here, the district is doing a lot and will continue to do a lot in providing training and providing support and helping clubs. That's the purpose of the district. Daniel gave the district mission earlier, one part of which is to support all clubs in achieving excellence. But what we also need to do is remember that clubs are there to service the needs of their members and to talk to their members and work in a way that works well for their members. Unfortunately, with all the things that are going on with the pandemic and everything, sometimes what needs to happen within a club isn't going to be perfect for everyone. But as Daniel said, there are lots of other opportunities in Toastmasters. I can speak from my own experience. I joined a Toastmasters club, and because of a change in my life, I was actually moving. I couldn't continue with that club, and I couldn't imagine being part of any other club other than that one I was a part of until I walked through the door of the one that I then joined. And so I would say for our members and for our clubs, be open-minded, work together, see how everyone can support each other, because I think the big benefit for everyone is to get the most out of their Toastmasters experience. And there are plenty of opportunities to do that. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. While I've got you here, I have a question for you. How has admin, sorry, let me just put my teeth back in. I just got my tongue tied. It happens. How has admin improved productivity through technology?
What a fascinating question. And it's a very broad question there. How has technology improved productivity? Maybe it hasn't. Genuinely, maybe it hasn't. We now find that we're in a world where we can easily have Zoom meetings, we can easily have wonderful webinars, and that's great because we can talk to people, we can get views, we can share experiences and work together to solve problems. But that also means that we can spend a lot of time dealing with things that are coming up as they're coming up. And so one of the things that I do as part of the district from an administration manager perspective is I try and keep up with all the emails that are coming into the central DLT email box. Now, I say the central DLT email box because every member of the DLT has their own email address as well, and they handle all their direct inquiries. So in terms of adding efficiency, I think it makes it easier for people to connect. And making it easier for people to connect is a very good thing because we can help and support each other a lot more. On the downside, making it easier to connect can mean that sometimes things are a little bit responsive and reactive. And so I think there's always a balance. Technology is always a blessing and a curse. And that's from someone who spends his daily life dealing with technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I'm going to come back to you, Elizabeth, if I may, because I have a question now for Brenda. In fact, I've had one question, and I'm sure Brenda can answer this. How long do you have to be a member before you can apply for the district leadership team role?
Thank you, Sue, for that question. Like most things in Toastmasters, it depends. It depends what role at district level you are applying for. For example, if you're applying for an area director role, it is recommended that you have served as VPE or club president, but it's not mandatory. For the trio members on the district leadership team, there are certain criteria that have to be met, and they would be available on the toastmasters.org website. Those details would be available. So one of the criteria would be that you have served as either an area director or division director, and others you have served as a club president. But the criteria are detailed on the toastmasters.org website.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you, Sue.
I just wanted to acknowledge we do have our past district director, Kevin Lee, in the room. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. So welcome, Kevin. And I'm going to go back to Brenda now, as I have another question. What do club officers do if they're unable to attend the club officer training?
Thank you, Sue. The first round of club officer training was up to the 31st of October. So the first round is over, but the second round will be starting in early 2022. If you find that you are unable to attend the training session that is organised by your local area or division director, there are many opportunities to attend training online. So the details of those training events will be on the District 71 website on the calendar of events.
Thank you, Brenda. Now I'm going to open this next question to the whole team, and whoever puts their hand up first will be the lucky person to be able to answer it. Should the selection process for area director be reviewed? Daniel.
It's an interesting and an incredibly open-ended question, isn't it? Reviewed for what purpose? What I can tell you is that this district has voted twice now to allow area directors to be voted by their area councils, and the area councils contain the area director, vice president of membership, vice president of education, and president of all of the clubs. I personally think that is a great way to choose an area director, one that is respected by the clubs. Sometimes it goes wrong. Sometimes somebody gets put forward into a hole in the ground and they don't know what to do when they're in that space, and they struggle all year long and they struggle to engage. We occasionally do get that. An alternative method that we've reviewed and considered to bring back into District 71 is of the district leadership team, district director making appointments to area directors, which is what I have to do if an area director resigns or an area director is not successfully elected anyway. And around the world, a lot of districts do just simply appoint their area directors. They'll phone around the club presidents and ask for nominees, and then they'll phone around the nominees, decide which one they like, and drop them into the hole in the ground. Which works better? I personally believe in grassroots engagement and democracy rather than appointments, but that's my personal view.
Thank you, Daniel. Now, I think this might be our last question, and I'm going to pose this one to Brenda. Brenda, how are clubs in D71 doing in adopting pathways?
Thank you, Sue, for that question. Looking at the statistics, our clubs are doing very well in relation to club officers. But where we fall down is in pathways adoption for new members. And this is an area that I and the two district pathways chairs, Somesh Kumar and Vanette Hoffman-Jackson, will be looking at to support clubs to improve the onboarding process into pathways for their newer members. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Brenda. I think that's all we have time for our questions today. I can see the red light on my screen, and I wanted to thank you for those thought-provoking questions. And I'm now going to hand you over to Daniel to summarise the session. So over to you, Daniel. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Sue. As well chaired question session. I think what I'd like to really point out right now is that we owe a huge amount of thanks to the people that have helped bring this and to bring the Sunday webinars to the District 71, of which there's an exciting new lineup coming. I can see almost a dozen people associated with the Sunday webinar team. We've had Liz Welch on the clocks tonight, Geroyd Murphy streaming, from time to time, Srinka Janga comes in, but we've got Jenny Chalmers in tonight as question master, moderating the questions. Nick Collins, Sue Burnett, as you've mentioned, but also helped up by 3 members of the DLT, Steve Campion, Arnold and Elizabeth, all working on these webinars. So I'd like to offer a big round of thanks and also include Gaia, who's not here tonight. I think the district is facing an exciting year. This is the year where we can go back and build back better. We can achieve again. I'm sure many of our longer term members will realize that over the years, there's been a lot of sort of background griping about various things. That was dues going up, pathways coming in, COVID, online, Zoom, you name it. But let's stop with that. Let's start focusing forward on what we can achieve and what we can believe in. Let's go for it. It worked for JFK to have this big, hairy, audacious goal of going to the moon, but it could work for District 71 to go for that podium finish when we're distinguished, where we've grown at least 1.5% more clubs, where we've grown at least 1.5% more membership, where we've got over 40% of our clubs distinguished. We can do better than that by far. We can often get nearly 80% of our clubs distinguished. And yes, we can aim to grow 8% new clubs. And yes, we can aim to grow 8% more membership payments. And that would make us the worldwide coveted Smedley Distinguished District. And it wouldn't be District 74 standing there, it would be District 71. And I believe with passion, we can aim to put this district on the world stage as we go into our 50th year at Nashville. We may no longer be able to plan a podium finish with Paris, but we can plan one with the music of Presley in Nashville. We can certainly have a dance and a party when we get that banner. And think of all of the different foods and cuisines we can enjoy when we go to Nashville and the stories that we will tell in our 50th year. I'd now like to conclude my summary. I'm on green, and I'd now like to hand over to Steve Campion, who will introduce a feedback survey. And a feedback survey is vital to us to grow and gain confidence and become better. Thank you very much.